Hey guys, by Austin Ramos, and today we are going to be talking about the Miami Dolphins facing off the Denver Broncos this week. Week 11 at Denver, obviously. The game is November 22nd, 4:05 kickoff, 4:05 Eastern Standard Time, and the game will be televised on CBS. With that all being said, let's get into it. So, the Miami Dolphins are 6-3 at this point. Denver Broncos 3 and 6. Yeah, 3-6 and they haven't been so good at home. They're 1-3 on the road. Dolphins are 3-1 away. Dolphins are looking pretty good. We have, been on a 5-game winning streak, and hopefully that continues this week. I do believe they could beat this Denver Broncos team, and so the ESPN matchup predictor has it at 53.3%, and the Broncos at 46.6, a tie being 0.4%. And let's see some of the gambling odds. The spread is at -3.5 for the Dolphins, +3.5 for the Broncos. Money line is -185 for the Dolphins, +165 for the Broncos, and over under is at 46. I would probably, if I was betting man, I would probably take the under. Who knows, man? Honestly, let's talk about some injuries. So Solomon Kinley, the offensive guard, and Kyle Van Noy, linebacker, both are questionable for the Dolphins. And then for the Broncos, Bryce Callahan, cornerback, Deshaun Williams, defensive tackle, Graham Glasgow, guard, Noah Fant, tight end, and Drew Lock, quarterback. All of those guys are questionable for today, Sunday's game, tomorrow's game. And before we get into anything else, I just want to be clear. There will be no game picks video this week. Unfortunately, we've just had trouble trying to schedule everyone to get it together. But we still do our game picks. Like, we'll put in the picks. But hopefully next week we can do that. And this video is coming out very late just because I've been so backed up with school. It's been ridiculous. But school comes first, guys. Sorry about that. So, with all that being said, the season leaders for both teams, Ryan Fitzpatrick still in the lead, same stats as before. Drew Lock, 131 completions for 238 attempts. 1,497 yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Not looking good. I had Drew Lock having a better year this year, and he hasn't lived up to it as of late, and it's quite unfortunate for him and the Broncos. Myles Gaskin is our leading rusher with 100 carries, 387 yards, 2 touchdowns. Melvin Gordon is the leading rusher for the Broncos, 107 carries, 439 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Devontae Parker is the Dolphins' leading receiver with 38 receptions, 462 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then Jerry Jeudy, the rookie, is the leading receiver for the Denver Broncos with 34 receptions, 552 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So he's been putting on a very good year so far. So congrats to him. He's been doing very good out the gate. So when we look at the teams, points per game, Dolphins are averaging 27.9 points per game. The Broncos are averaging 20.7 points allowed per game. It's literally kind of like a flip mirror. Like, it's 20.2 points per game for the Dolphins defense, and then 28.2 for the Broncos defense. Now, when we look at total yards offensively, Dolphins are averaging 326.9. Broncos are averaging 353.7. Yards passing, 288.2 for the Dolphins, 247.1 for the Broncos. 98.7 yards rushing for the Dolphins, 106.6 for the Broncos. And then when it comes to defensive stats, yards allowed, Dolphins are averaging 393.3 yards per game on defense, and then 376.2 for the Broncos. Now, when it comes to pass yards allowed, 265.2, and that's for the Dolphins. 247.4 is for the Broncos. And then when it comes to rushing, 128.1 for the Dolphins and 128.8 for the Broncos. Last 5 games for the Dolphins have all been wins against San Francisco, Jets, Rams, Cardinals, and Chargers. And then for the Denver Broncos, their last win was against the Chargers. So they won against the Patriots, lost against Kansas City, won against the Chargers, and then lost 2 straight to the Falcons and the Raiders. So not looking so good, but Denver is still above the Chargers in their division. But the hopes of them winning the division, very slight to none, or maybe making the playoffs, very slight to none. They're third in the division with 3-6. They're behind Las Vegas, who's 6-3, and then behind in front of them is Kansas City, 8-1. Obviously, Miami is in contention to possibly, bring this division a lot closer. And I don't think the Buffalo Bills play this week. They play next week against the Chargers, so that will be interesting to see. But the Dolphins are right behind the Buffalo Bills, who are 7-3. Dolphins are 6-3. And a win this week could be very, very big. We will not take the lead in the division if we win this week. But with Buffalo being on bye, it sets up down the line Dolphins possibly winning. So we'll see. All that being said, let's talk about how the Miami Dolphins could win this game. As of late, Dolphins have been having very good success getting to quarterbacks and pressuring them and making them fumble, throw interceptions, yada, yada, yada. You get the point. The Chargers offense, players, personnel, coaches, and all that stuff, we're saying that, this is like a very hard defense to play against because they're just throwing so much at you. You don't know exactly what's coming. It's very, very hard. And if we can continue to fluster, who even is probably going to be quarterback for the Broncos? It's going to be Driscoll. Is it going to be Locke? Is it going to be anyone else? Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. But whoever quarterback is, defense definitely needs to put pressure on him and get to him and make him feel uncomfortable. And with that being said, now for the offense needs to get off to a good start because you don't want to be, hanging around in this game. Luckily, the temperature for this game, I believe, is going to be in the 40s, high 40s. So 48 is the estimated temperature time for kickoff. So that's not going to be a bad temperature-wise for the Broncos because, up there in Denver, it can get real cold. It can snow easily. So I don't expect it to be snowing, but if it does, Dolphins better be prepared for that. But I don't think it'll be too cold. But that being said, offensively, we need to jump out to a fast start. Last week, we had a blocked punt that literally was down at the 1 yard line when it was recovered. And next play, we rush in for a touchdown. So, stuff like that. We need to get off to a good start and get ahead early because you don't want to be hanging around this Denver Broncos team because you never know. They could easily punch us in the mouth and win because this is one of those games that you could be like, oh, the Dolphins are for sure going to win. And then they end up losing, and everyone's just like what happened? And, every given week is a new year basically for a lot of these teams. So a lot of people take it 1 week at a time, and as they should, 1 day at a time. And you never know. But hopefully the Dolphins do win this game. I'm really hoping they do. I expect them to win by a touchdown or two. I'd say about 10 points is my margin of victory. That's where I think we're gonna win by about 10 points. And it's gonna be interesting if we really limit the quarterback. They're gonna have to run a lot. I feel like teams will have success against this team running, but the thing is, once they start forcing these turnovers, they get kind of like, all right, we need to get back in this game right now, so let's try to make a big play. And it's very, very good that this defense is good at holding off a lot of these teams. But another thing I want to mention is we got to stop Jerry Jeudy. I mean, look at his stats. He's a rookie. He has 34 receptions, 552 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I know that's not a lot of touchdowns, but he has a lot of yards, which means he's moving the ball down the field for his team. And that just means we need to put an end to that and really hold them down. So Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, a lot of the secondary needs to put in a good effort to stopping him and his efforts. But besides that, I really like our chances of winning this game, and I expect the Dolphins to fully win this game. And that's about it. Tomorrow I will come out with the post-game summary. After the game will finish around probably 7:30, almost 8 o'clock. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when we play these Denver Broncos. I was really looking forward to this matchup, especially when it was really scheduled earlier on the year. But then COVID stuff happens, and not only that, Drew Lock was injured. We're getting back around to this game, and Drew Lock is injured once again. I was really hoping to see Drew Lock play because I like his play style, but he just hasn't been having a good year, and that's unfortunate. And they've been bitten really bad by the injury bug. They have a lot of key players that got hurt. So we'll see what happens. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to let me know down below in the comments. And that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the day, and fins up.